for waiting. Thank you all for joining us today, and welcome to our Brands Alliance Budget Webinar series. I'm your host, Joe Vitorino, the Executive Director of Strategy at Plan Companies. I oversee the Alliance, and I'll be guiding you through our webinar series as we hear from our various subject matter experts. The Brands Alliance is a consortium of top-tier service property providers, including AmenityLink, American Pool, CertaPro Painters, Heartline Fitness, Live Unlimited, Paul Davis Restoration, and Plan Companies. As best-in-class service organizations, we collaborate to enhance the client experience and improve the quality of life for the residents and tenants that we proudly serve. By sharing expertise, best practices, and value-added services, we elevate the standards of property management. This will be our final week of presentations for our budget season webinar series, which will include presentations from our subject matter experts covering two new topics, fitness and wellness and property technology. Each presentation will be split into two segments. The morning session was this morning at 10 a.m., focused on multifamily, with the afternoon session focusing on condo in the HOA world. All these webinars will be recorded for your convenience, and they can be viewed on demand online following each webinar. This one will be hosted on the Heartline Fitness website. Today's session will be focused on, of course, fitness and wellness, presented by Jeff Shipman and Kelly of Heartline Fitness. Before we dive in, we do want to encourage everyone to feel free to ask any questions throughout the presentation using the Q&A button on the Zoom below. Questions will be gathered by me throughout the webinar, and we'll review them together at the end. So without further ado, it is my pleasure to welcome Jeff and Kelly to present our budget season webinar presentation on fitness and wellness. Take it away, guys.
Thank you, Joe. We will just get right into it. My name is Jeff Shipman. I'm the CEO and president of Heartline Fitness. Kelly Spivey is our resident PhD, amenity activator, fitness guru, educator at Tampa University. So excited to have you here and really give us a presentation surrounding some of the things to consider during budget season, and obviously a little bit equipment centric, but there's also service considerations here among some other things. So Kelly, let's take it away.
Yeah, this is great. Thanks for the opportunity. Love talking about fitness in any realm. Yeah. So the kind of the outline for today, we're going to just go into fitness trends. So when we walk into a fitness into a community, one of the first questions that we ask is, what are residents or homeowners asking for in the fitness center? So is there any equipment that you don't have that is popular that, there's a spot for? So we'll talk about virtual fitness, cardio, strength, as well as the functional and the recovery stuff. We'll go into layout and design. Sometimes it's just a matter of rearranging the furniture to make a fitness center look and feel a little bit better. We'll talk about reimagining some spaces. So maybe you already have the four walls of a fitness center, but what can we do outside of those? We'll talk a little bit about flooring and your options there, preventive maintenance, and then a little bit about Heartline, little public service announcement there. So most requested, and a lot of times when you're looking for fitness or you're researching, Amazon always pops up in one of those most in your search engine. So that should not be your trusted source for fitness equipment, unless maybe it's for your home, but we still think you should call us. That's why bringing somebody into your team who does this for a living and we're embedded in this all day long is kind of the best place to start. So a couple just quick pictures of some of the things that are commonly asked for. We've got the touchscreen cardio with the embedded screens that are interactive, functional training space, wide open spaces, storage. The Smith machine, this one's a Freedom Rack. Functional training space, again, wide open spaces. So whether you have personal trainers or people who just kind of like to do their own thing, great option there. And then virtual bikes. So when we talk about screens, personal viewing screens where you have a TV right there in front of you, where you can, click on a cable box and go to Fox News, CNN, HGTV, ESPN. Those are less common now. A lot of communities are moving into the virtual realm where you can stream And that's what a lot of the TVs on our walls are doing right now, where you can stream through HBO Max, Netflix, CNN, all your favorite channels. You can be they can be integrated into the screen. So you just touch and watch. A lot of people like the distraction of entertainment. You can also do scenery. So if you've never been to Germany, you can like hike through the streets, hike through the streets or go through the Alps. You can have instructor-led courses. Some of them even have instructor-led courses through the scenery, and the machine actually changes grade based on the terrain of the scenery. So a lot of options in touchscreens. So again, that's where that conversation needs to come in. What's your community want? What's the best fit for your demographic? And then your virtual options, the bike that begins with a P kind of made this virtual platform really mainstream. In the commercial market, there are a lot of different options for bikes, rowers. You see the mirrors on TV. So Echelon, Espresso, Avron, Star Trek, just a few names of products that we carry, and you can get them in bikes. I mean, that's a 22-inch screen right there in front of you. The mirror, the rower, you can actually race people. Some of the bikes have games where the handlebars actually move, and it's you're chasing dragons or hunting down coins, and the faster you go, the more coins you get. And heck, in 20 minutes, you're just like sweating bullets, and you barely even realize you're exercising. So that's what kind of makes it fun, engaging, entertainment, and having an instructor kind of spearing you on. There's even live classes. So, at 2 o'clock this afternoon, I can get on my Echelon bike and find a live class going on. And then the on-demand fitness realm, where you've got either you have instructor-led classes. We do a lot with Wellbeats. They have over 800 classes that they offer. So, in 3 years, I might get through all of them. But the nice thing about that is you've got an on-demand fitness room where you can have your residents all join together for a Zumba class or a boot camp, or you can do it in the convenience of your own home or while you're on vacation or at your job, which is nice for people who maybe don't want to go into a fitness center, or it's 3 o'clock in the morning, or it's a stay-at-home mom and they just want that convenience of doing a class anywhere, anytime. So as like a value add for your community, that's a great offering. And now into the cardio realm. The Stairmaster is still one of the most requested items in the fitness on that cardio row. So Stairmaster turned 40 this year, just like Heartline Fitness. So they've been in the industry for a while. And I think the first engineer who thought, hey, we should make stairs that go nowhere, and thought that it would be a great seller, was right. So this has been around for 4 decades. And Stairmaster just brought out the baby Stairmaster, we're kind of calling it. It's the 4G, but it's great because it fits through a single doorway. It has a smaller footprint, smaller height. So if you have low ceilings, this is a great option. And if your budget doesn't allow for maybe the Mac Daddy of the Stairmaster, this is easier on the budget too. These the rower and the air bike upper body conditioning is becoming more popular. You see this air bike and cardiac rehab programs, but now CrossFit has made all these things cool again. So you've got air bike, rower. These are all portable. They can be moved into a community room. They can be moved outside. They don't need any electricity, and easy on the budget. So if you're looking for things that kind of bring more variety into your fitness room, these are great options because they're not going to break the bank. And then talked about the functional aspect of training. Some people just like to do 30 minutes on the treadmill and then a circuit of weights, whereas more people are leaning into functional training and changing up their program every day, every week, every month. So creating open spaces to allow people to swing kettlebells, do walking lunges, use these suspension trainers, use the battle ropes. That's kind of what we're looking to create, is some wide open spaces. Of course, that doesn't cost any money, but it just gives that, a little bit impact, and caters to maybe a wider variety of participants. Plus, it gets all your toys up off the floor. So really nice, sleek storage solution for kettlebells, medicine balls, suspension trainers, straps, battle ropes. There's a nice little drawer down here to put away all your little toys. And then the Smith machine is also popular. Nice alternative to a traditional Olympic bar training. So it's safer for the user, safer for the floor. You don't get the impact on the concrete and all the noise that can kind of go along with that. And then finally, we try to look for dedicated areas for stretching and recovery. So you have a stretch cage, elevated mat table, makes it more comfortable for people to kind of stretch, because you don't have to get up off the floor when you do that. And then really maybe more private areas, so you're not stretching while somebody's, throwing around dumbbells. Just things that we look for when we're trying to reimagine a space, or recreate a space. Anything to add, Jeff, in there?
Yeah, I have just a couple comments. So I think, a lot of product here that we kind of went through, and in our industry, just as this kind of strategy for our listeners, we do get product like every 8 to 9 months. So one thing that happens in the full-blown commercial gyms is, there's a big concern on membership and retention, obviously. And some of the product that is designed with streaming video content, go to Germany, do this game, to keep people occupied. Not everybody wants to work out or as committed as some of us, fitness enthusiasts. But I think, a strategy to assess your facility once a year, every couple years, to make sure, you do have relevant equipment. You are creating value and presence in the community and for your owners. Have us come in, do an assessment. You may not need anything big like the next, 4G or 10G gauntlet, but there's ways to reimagine some of these spaces or expand on the spaces and use them differently based on products that have come out. In the commercial gym market, and this isn't always necessarily the case in the HOA market, right? You have CapEx, you have reserves, there's a timing to when we're going to spend money, and sometimes there has to be a need and a committee. But having a strategic plan where we know in 10 years we have to update the strength. We know every 5 to 6 years we're going to have to do something with cardio. Don't let that just be the path that you go down, right? Look at it once a year. Maybe there's a couple little quick adds. In the full-blown gyms, the crunches, the golds, they are adding a little piece almost every single month that just creates some buzz, right? And it helps activate the community and engage them around fitness and wellness. So I think we could spend hours showing you all the different product here, but the strategy behind this is there's something big, small, in between. Don't just evaluate this thing every time the reserve comes up or the CapEx comes up. Take a look at it, because there's big things to do, middle things to do, and small little things that are going to create a buzz and sense of engagement and bring people back into fitness and wellness.
Right. Which also brings up a good point, when you talk about your fitness committees, that's where we like to get involved, because there's a lot of different opinions, but they have the insight. They're the ones who are in the gym all the time. They have ideas of their own. And so we kind of try to collaborate and bring all those ideas together, focus on, the main user, but then also what's outside that bell curve. Like, what are the people who aren't using the facility? And what's that reason? Can we bring something in that would make them feel more comfortable in that setting? Maybe some, post rehab type equipment or lower intensity things. And so, yeah, being kind of the referee that assembles all the information and then makes it a collaborative effort among all the parties who are volunteering. I mean, that's nice. That's huge to give of your time. So with the layout and design, like I mentioned in the beginning, sometimes it's just a matter of rearranging the furniture just to create better flow. So when you walk in, it doesn't look like someone threw up fitness equipment. There's designated areas for strength and for cardio and for the free weight area. And like I said, for the dumbbells. And then where the place a lot of us go first is, where are the treadmills positioned? So if someone fell off the treadmill, is there enough clearance? And forfeit is kind of the industry standard. Would they fall into a wall? I've seen them where they're backed up against a window. That would be bad. Or a mirror, or a glass partition, or a piece of strength equipment. So looking for that 4-foot safety zone behind each treadmill may just be where you start. So this is just kind of a sample layout. We showed where that 4-foot zone is behind the treadmill. So no equipment is in there. Plenty of room for the functional training. So if they want to swing kettlebells or do walking lunges, or there's a battle rope to bang around. ADA compliance is not necessarily as important in a condo or a homeowners association, but it doesn't mean it's not the right thing to do. So we try to provide ample spacing in between the cardio, so somebody who's differently abled still has access to, any piece of equipment they want, and it's easy to get to. And then in this picture, you may see the double doors. Those are our friends for our install team. They are, a treadmill the commercial treadmill is too wide to fit through a single door. So that's why we like double doors. This piece of equipment here with the dual adjustable pulley won't fit through a single door. So if you're planning or reimagining or doing some construction, there's some different things to kind of consider with architecture. And then we'll also help you on where are the outlets going to be placed. Treadmills need dedicated outlets. When we talked about the virtual stuff, is your Wi-Fi signal strong enough? Or is this something that you might want to hardwire with a Cat5 cable? And what does that look like? So bringing us in the beginning is always awesome when you're redoing a space or refreshing or even doing a new build. And we can talk about that later. So if you're just reimagining a space, if you walk around your property and you're like, no one's usually in this room, or we don't usually use this outdoor space very much, bring us in. We'll be happy to kind of walk you through some of the ideas that to consider. So we'll just kind of throw a few out there. Retrofitting a racquetball court to a golf simulator. These things don't take up much space. So the infrared light therapy beds are not only therapeutic, but relaxing, and they don't require anything extra as far as power. Massage chair. So maybe creating some recovery zones or some mind-body spaces in some underutilized places. This room on the right was an old storage closet. So the community decided that they wanted to do sound therapy and meditation and breath work and some yoga therapy classes. So cleaned out the room, decided on a nice paint moss wall to bring the outdoors in, cool ceiling fixtures. This is bounce flooring, which we'll talk about in a minute. And then, a couple yoga mats and some interested and invested instructors. And this is what we have. So that was a great project to work with. Turf. I mean, this is an outdoor space just outside a fitness center. That's not a lot of turf, but things that you can do in there, moonlight yoga or full moon yoga. You can do some boot camps, some HIIT training. You can, run a sled down the center of that to do some like boot camp type things. Bring an instructor and you're sweating outside.
Kelly, this is one of my favorite slides, and I just wanted to point out, like, you don't have to have this type of scenario on the ground floor. Like we've done this in high rises, we've done it, mid tier, but if you've got the right climate, most of the year, not everybody does, but making your space interactive with the outdoors and some turf, like this is super easy to do. And the impact visually and first impressions is huge.
Right. Right. And the trainers love this, or you can just take your little virtual app and do your programming out there. Yeah, you'll be amazed what kind of spaces we could find when we walk a property. And then a little larger investment, but when we do outdoor spaces, we kind of like to complement what's going on inside the fitness center with some things that are maybe unique to that area. So if you brought in a group exercise instructor to do a Saturday morning boot camp, I bet you have 25 people there, all sweating and um, together and smiling when it's over. But yeah, the kids get their outdoor playground areas. This is kind of like for the adults and their little play area. And then this FitBench, just one of the products that we like for like a community room space. So maybe it's shared with board meetings, poker night. This little bench is on wheels. It can kind of push off to the side of the room, and then it's a bench. And then when you're ready to do fitness, I mean, look at all the great accessories it's got: kettlebells, dumbbells, medicine balls. It's got battle ropes in there, bands. This bench goes up or down so that you can use it as a plyo box. You got this guy doing incline presses. You know, she's doing band work. So this is very versatile. It's made in the USA. You know, we can ship them right away. They also make outdoor fit benches that will withstand the elements. And it comes with a nice little top and cover that fits snugly. So you can just store it outside most of the year, depending on where you live. All right, so flooring. When we walk into a space, I always kind of, do the little sniff test and see if there's, any lingering odors. And a lot of times, if there are, it's because there's carpet on the floor. Carpet is great for, absorbing sound. It doesn't echo as much, but it's not forgiving in that it absorbs sweat and spilled, sports drink. And, if it's not deep clean regularly, it can be kind of a nose sore. So we work mostly with a company called Ecor Athletic. All they do is flooring for athletic surfaces. So whether it's, yoga spaces or gyms or, high impact areas, they've got a solution for it. And this isn't something you'd find like when you go to a big box store or your local flooring supplier. They've gone through extensive research on resistance impact and vibration control, and there's research studies to show every single piece of flooring and how it reduces noise and vibration and all that. We do a ton of this product. It's called Bounce. It's a rolled vinyl. And as you can see, Crunch Fitness likes it too, which is one of the largest growing franchises in the commercial gym space. And this comes in, this one's a gray wood tone. It comes in like a sand, it comes in a darker brown. It's got like slate colors. So it really looks more natural. And it's just pretty. This is like 8mm. If you want to get into a rolled rubber, a little bit less expensive, it still has great impact. All these color specs can be it can match whatever paint's on the wall. So you want a blue speck, a green speck, orange, yellow, green, your favorite sports teams. It could even be black. And the cool thing about Ecor is that maybe you want that bounce in the cardio area and then the rolled rubber in the free weight area. They're the same thickness. So they marry up real well together. So you're not going to have any uneven seams. I'm showing. Staying in the rubber category, if there's issues with noise or vibration, maybe there's a unit next to the fitness room that's open 24/7 and people are dropping dumbbells or they're slamming weights. We've got thicker products that, we can discuss that will maybe help reduce the noise and the vibration in that fitness room. We love turf. Turf can define a functional training space. It can be used inside, it can be outside. And if you look at this piece of this example, it's got layers of cushion. So a rubber back, cushion, and then the artificial grass. And this is not like what you might find again at a big box store. Some of that flooring is like a Brillo pad. So imagine if you're, on your hands and knees, you're doing bear crawls or something like that. Your skin's just gonna get tore up from an improper turf. So great investment, but not something you really want to skimp on if you're, trying to reimagine a space with some turf. Plus, when you walk on it, it's like you feel like that adrenaline flowing, like you're on the football field or the soccer field, and it just kind of energizes you.
Yeah, I feel like that. I love this picture too. I think the flooring side of it, maybe you don't need an upgrade in equipment and it's not that old, right? But you miss this side of it. It's a very easy, depending on how far you go with it. Like it can be expensive, but a little bit of turf, a little bit of color, some products like Bounce, like you really can create a much more inviting environment versus maybe if you had some old smelly carpet or there was just plain old black, rubber flooring down. Sometimes these are very aggressive, not as inviting environments. A little bit of turf, a little bit of color, some splashes of different colors on the walls, and it will look like you just redid the entire gym, right? Without replacing a single piece of equipment.
Right, right. And one other thing to consider, so if you're looking to replace floor, that flooring installer may not want to move around your fitness equipment. So that's kind of nice thing about going with, a company like Heartline, where our team's going to come in, move the equipment. Flooring installers are going to remove the old carpet, prepare the floor, put down the new product, and then move the equipment back without damaging the new floor. And that's kind of the key component. There's a skill to moving equipment around, especially if you just invested in a new floor. You don't want them messing it up.
Heavy equipment.
Yeah, yeah. We have other product lines outside of the rubber and the things with Ecor. So if you like the look of carpet and you like the fact that it doesn't like maybe echo in the room, this is one product that we have. I like the story on this because Kinetics is actually made from recycled water bottles. So it's got like say plastic feel. So if I spilled a red sports drink on it and somebody didn't clean it up till tomorrow, it's not going to stain. And there are more color combinations that come with this product that than you can even imagine in a day. So this particular setup is they have like a pathway to find and then throw some color in. They come in planks. They also come in squares. So if you should need to replace it, that's kind of an easy fix too. But again, lots of options. Just needs a conversation. Okay, so preventive maintenance. So just like your car, even if you're leasing the car, you still have to get the oil changed, rotate the car, rotate the tires, do your 50,000 mile tune up, all those kind of things. And so your fitness equipment requires the same TLC. There's some ongoing like daily and weekly maintenance that we can talk about for your housekeeping staff, your janitorial people, and your maintenance team, but it's having someone in, professional who's certified through the different manufacturers come in and actually inspect, take the hood off of the treadmill cover, clean, test, because over time, this will definitely protect your investment. And the goal is to prevent costly repairs down the road. So hate seeing those. Also, in this picture, you'll see the little old iPhone charging cord. I don't know how many pins that was, 21 pins or something. So when we see these, we know that the fitness equipment's probably a little bit older too. But the again, it reduces it protects your investment. A lot of times they want to know how often should we have somebody come in to do this maintenance. Usually quarterly works for majority of the facilities. If it's a large fitness center with a lot of homeowners, maybe monthly works better. That's something that, can even change over time. It's worth a conversation with our technician and the management team to decide what's the best frequency for the preventive maintenance. These are recent pictures. So the treadmill, and this is a really nice facility. When this lady elevated her treadmill and I took a look under there, it's obvious that hasn't been cleaned in quite some time. So that's one thing we would do. We work with the janitorial team to discuss the best ways to, keep the equipment clean, both underneath and on top. The other part of that is if you're using harsh cleaning chemicals, that can reduce the longevity of your equipment too. So another discussion on those kind of things. And then this picture on the right is actually the seam of the treadmill belt that just ripped in half, or was ripping, and there was not an out of order sign on it. I'm hoping no one tried to use that piece of equipment, but yeah, we did find a sign for that one. And then true story, was in a facility last week and was walking around in the AED cabinet. The AED was missing. So no one really knew where it was at first. We did locate it, and the reason they took it out of the cabinet is because they needed to replace the battery. So, we know these little shock boxes save lives, and having one in your facility is part of best practices. It's not always required. In fact, most states don't require an AED, but it is the right thing to do. And then if you need the AEDs, the supplies, the batteries, the pads, we can also help with that. So Heartline, we have been in business for 40 years, and just like Stairmaster and Spirit Fitness, we're all celebrating, 40 years in business. We are one of the largest dealer networks in the United States. Here's just a small sampling of our partners where we are doing business or conducting business with. Also, if you're not currently a Heartline customer, probably one of your sister companies is somewhere in that list. Our team is filled with everybody who can help from start to finish. So we've kind of talked a little bit about, layouts and reimagining spaces and some of the equipment that might be, important to bring into a facility to give it a little refresh. But if it's a matter of building a new facility or doing a complete renovation on your existing facility to create more space, we have an architectural team who can, help with that. We can talk about staffing and programming, and is there a need for bringing in a physical therapist, massage therapist, and treatment rooms, if you're adding ancillary staff. We'll look at, everything from equipment selection, we'll procure it, we'll look at ADA compliance or equipment that might be built for post-rehab or, people with different abilities. And then, any of our reps, we go from Maine to Miami into the Midwest. Everybody's got, years of experience, and we are happy to come into your facility and really just do a free assessment. Walk around with your fitness committee, walk around with the community manager, and just kind of talk about, the demographics of the community, existing equipment, budgets, all that, just kind of start from square one. Proposed space design, layout. If the reserves don't have the money for a facility update, then we can discuss, leasing. Again, we're doing the delivery, install, ongoing maintenance. We even have an amenity management app, so you can use that, as part of the whole Heartline fitness solution. So Amenity Link is our app. It helps you manage amenities, reserve fitness spaces, reserve personal training time. You can use it for push notifications, which is nice when they're like, all right, don't forget full moon yoga is this Saturday, or a hurricane is coming. Please put your patio furniture inside your house, different things like that. Newsletters, mailroom, package management. It's really customizable, and it's a great tool that your residents and your homeowners have access to. And like Joe said in the very beginning, we are part of a collective of companies that really support the amenities in multifamily. So American Pool, Heartline Fitness, Plan Companies, Amenity Link. We try to be a resource for your community and help out any way we can. And if we don't have it, we'll find you somebody who can help. And if you're interested, like I said, we've got reps all the way up and down the East Coast into the Middle Atlantic. So if you're not sure who your representative is, sales@heartlinefitness.com or call the 844 number. Check out our website. We've got a resources page that shows, it's got tons of resources on programming, fitness equipment purchasing, and just different insights from some of our team that can kind of support your health and fitness initiatives. And that's all I have.
Awesome, Kelly. Thank you. I just wanted to, note a couple things too, that, this is a budgeting webinar. And those of you that, are in the budget process or approaching it, there is a strategy. And like I said before, there's a lot of different products that, are renewed every 8 to 10 months. There's a lot of different things that we can do, right? Between service and flooring and equipment and moss walls and lockers and recovery rooms, things like that. Bringing in a professional that we live in, breathe this every single day. We do thousands of designs. We can really help you agnostically with a selection of products and ideas and reimagine these spaces, whether it's new or hasn't been refreshed in 10 years. I think the first step in all of this is making sure you have the right partner, right, to help you through this in any part of that budgeting process. New development, 20 years old, 10 years old, don't have a fitness space at all. Maybe we throw some fit benches outside on some turf. We can make it happen for you, and we're happy to do that.
Yeah, great point.
Well said, Jeff, and well said, Kelly. Thank you guys so much for your presentation. Tons of very valuable, insightful information there. So I hope all the attendees have a lot of great takeaways. I know I sure do. That is going to, before we conclude today's session, we do have a couple Q&A questions here for the group. So I'll start off for either of you to jump in. Question number one, when planning a fitness project, whether it's existing or an expansion, are there any square footage guidelines that managers should follow?
Kind of go by averages. So if you industry averages, there's 20% of people walking around, the streets are going to be going to a fitness center on a regular basis. So that's kind of our jumping off number. So let's say you have a community with 1,000 doors, 2,000 residents. So take 20% of that 2,000 and then give them about 10 square feet. So that 10 square feet can encompass the main fitness area, a group exercise area, any outdoor spaces. If you're in like a 55 and better community, that number of 20% is probably could be 25 to 35%. So you might need even larger fitness facilities for the communities where, a lot of them are retired and they have a little more free time on their hand. So that's where you can kind of help reimagine some spaces too. If you don't have that, the walls are kind of confining your existing assortment equipment.
Yeah, I would just add to that too, that we, in the past, there's 2 to 3, 4 zones that we were programming for, right? Your cardio, your free weight, selectorized machines. That's really not the case anymore. We have functional spaces, we have turf, we have outdoor spaces, we have recovery, rejuvenation, closets being turned into, meditation zones. So, it's somewhat limitless, right? And we could program out, we get involved with fitness facilities, and the amenity spaces they have in these complexes are 125,000 square feet in 3 towers in Manhattan, all the way down to, okay, I've only got 400 square feet, how do I maximize this space and have an impact? So, demographic and some math really with doors and people that are going to have access to this. Yes, we can do that. But really it comes down to, what kind of space is available, and hey, are we checking the box, or are we landing SpaceX on the roof?
Good analogy.
Awesome. Thank you, Jeff, and thank you, Kelly, for that answer. That explains a lot. Let's go on to our next question here. I believe this is the last one that we have. If there's anyone who wants to add in a question to the Q&A, feel free to do so in the Zoom button below. So here we go. What kind of specific tasks do techs do during a preventative maintenance service that a regular person on site wouldn't be able to do?
Yeah, I'll take that one. So look, out of the box, it is cleaning, calibrating, and making sure the equipment is safe to operate. We do a lot of specialized diagnostic on a variety of different products. The cleaning, the calibrating, yes, there's some mechanics to all of that, and taking things apart and putting back together. I think the piece you really can't give to a maintenance crew or something like that is the years of experience we have operating these machines, working on these machines, and knowing what solutions to provide, knowing that you don't put a mop on the running belt to clean it. There's a certain way to clean treadmills, what things to take off and dust off properly. So the process of actually maintaining them from a cleanliness and calibration, not super complicated, right? But the expertise, knowing how to handle these machines, and what tools and what solutions you can use in certain areas, that's the critical piece that we can't really teach. But there are certain things, as you saw in the one picture, where, hey, raise your treadmill up and mop and dust underneath there, get those dust bunnies out, right? That's a huge help for us when we're not out doing that quarterly PM.
Right. And if you think about it in the car analogy where we started, the brakes are squealing, but you let it go. So now instead of just replacing the brake pads, you have to replace the pads, the calipers, the rotors, and it becomes very expensive repair when it could have just, been kind of nipped in the bud early, when we found less expensive issues versus letting it go too long.
All right, that makes a lot of sense. So thank you again, Jeff and Kelly, for those answers. And thank you again for a great presentation. Thank you to all of our attendees who were able to join us today. As you can see on screen, this is going to conclude our fitness and wellness budget season webinar series. We will be back on Thursday, August 24th, focusing on property technology, where we'll have our guest speaker, Adam Chen, explain to you all the great stuff in the property technology world. So if you haven't, please do sign up for that webinar, again, for Thursday. Otherwise, this recording will be on the Heartline website later this week for your convenience, along with any other giveaways and items for you guys as takeaways to this webinar. So thank you again for joining us. We hope to see you on the next one, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day and week.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you.
Thank you.